It takes me back to my childhood and my upbringing, where my parents really instilled the values of equality, equity, and inclusion in me. I remember they used to always tell me, "You are our son and our daughter. You can do anything." And as an only child, that one statement really shaped me as an individual and my values as I grew up. It helped me not attach any identities in the form of religion, race, color, gender to myself, that one statement. And I think that is what has enabled me to kind of be on this global career journey that I've had with Unilever. And now actually being married to a Jewish American boy and all the challenges that come with having an interfaith marriage. I think the one belief that binds me and my husband together is that at the heart of it, in this one big earth ship that we live on, all of us humans are connected by one simple thing, and that is being human. And we are far more similar than we are different. And that's at the heart of my beliefs around diversity and inclusion. Why does diversity and inclusion matter? Well, in summary, it makes economic sense, it makes business sense, and it makes human sense. It makes economic sense because when you empower women, for example, any kind of diversity, let's focus on women, it kicks off this virtuous cycle in terms of more stable and equitable economies. I mean, there are researchers to prove that women actually reinvest way more than men do back into their families and communities, and that kind of kicks off this virtuous cycle. It makes business sense because as an organization, Unilever is essentially producing products for the consumers around the world. And our insights, our consumer insights, based on which the products and brands are built, are going to be far richer if we're intimate and in love with our consumers. And that is why it makes sense to actually reflect the consumer base that we have, even within the organization, whether it's ethnicities, gender, sexual orientation, all kinds of diversity. And so it makes business sense. It makes human sense because why would you want to leave anybody behind? And there's enough research to prove that a diverse team performs way better than a non-diverse team. And there's even studies to prove that to start building any kind of diversity, one should actually start with gender diversity, because women actually tend to enable more empathy, more psychological safety, better listening skills. And that creates this culture of diversity in the team, which in turn encourages other kind of diversity. So I think in short, makes economic sense, business sense, and human sense. And I think it's rooted for me personally in my upbringing. And I think it's a no-brainer that D&I should be a conversation today. A couple of policies that are very relevant to the pandemic and that we launched last year that make me super proud about the relevance of impact we're making is the domestic violence support policy, the fertility cover policy, and of course the existing policies that we have around maternity, paternity leave, where we go above and beyond the local laws of the country to give way more, because we know that when you support women and men in these key moments of their lives as parents, it goes a long way in helping them build more well-being as well as build more fruitful careers at Unilever. The hardware also includes how many people are diverse in your company. So if we just take gender diversity in Unilever Sri Lanka, we have 55% of our management committee, which is the country board, as female. We have about 42% of our entire management that's female, and about 31% of all non-factory employees are female. So we have made a lot of progress, but we do know that we have a long way to go to reach that 50-50 balance milestone. We also have some other wins, like last year we hired women on our factory shop floor for the first time. 25 females joined our Horana factory. We have a female factory manager at Agarapatna factory. Speaking about the software is nothing but the leadership, mindset, behaviors that each of us have that shape the culture of inclusion and diversity. At Unilever, we have a series of trainings to get rid of that unconscious bias that each of us have. There is inclusion mindset trainings for not just leaders, but also line managers. While there are many companies like Unilever, which are very conscious companies working very hard on this, when you zoom out and ask yourself, there are 195 countries in the world. How many heads of state are women? In the world of business, how many CEOs, CXOs are women? How many founders of startups are women? While there's a lot of progress that has been made, there is a long way to go before this world is actually an equitable place. There are so many differently abled people waiting to be employed. There's so much work to be done. Why should it matter at an individual level? I think the one thing that each of us can do, no matter where we are, is to create a culture of diversity of thought in our households, in our organizations, wherever we are, which is a culture of letting people be themselves. Because only when we have an open mind and see ourselves and the world objectively and the many identities that we hold dear, will we start to create a culture of diversity around the world.